Hello and welcome everyone to a Division 3 quarterfinals match. This is being played between the number 4 seed University of Florida and the number 5 seed Centrale Supelec, one of the two French schools that we have. Here we have a game underway between Sylvester and Blue Sky. We actually watched Centrale Supelec win yesterday to get here, if I'm not mistaken. I believe they beat Caltech. So now they're playing Florida for the chance at the semifinals, which will be played next weekend on Saturday. What's up, Brent? Good to see you. The winner of this match is actually guaranteed some prize money for 4th place in Division 3. I believe that is $250. So if they win this match and then lose the semifinals and the 3rd, 4th place match, they're guaranteed at least $250. Now, if they win, they're going to be gaining some more money. So they still just have to beat this team here first to get there. So the loser goes home. They get nothing. So, yeah. Right now we've got Sylvester, the board 3 from Florida, up against Blue Sky from France. Here we have Tampy. This is the top, or the team leader, the board 3 from France. The league has 2 French teams. The other one is in Division 5, I believe, University of France, Comte. Science and Techniques. This one, I believe, is in Paris. So we got all 4 games underway in round 1. I believe Florida is the higher seed. Centrale Supelec might have better rating. Todd does MC. Thank you for the follow. Welcome. All right. So Rabbit, board 2 versus Tampy, board 3. Both players at 2,100. Only 20 rating points between these two players. They have the same amount of time on the clock. Looks like white has the bishop pair. Black really extending the pawns on the king side, trying to get an attack. So this does expose the king a little bit. This king is relatively safe for now, but black's trying to open things up here. White striking in the center with e4. Black might just play f4, and they do. All right. So the knight retreats. I'm not sure what knight d2 is doing. Opens up the queen a little bit, but this knight is doing a good job of keeping these light squares under control. Black just continuing their development, bringing the knight out to d7. The bishop tucks back on the long diagonal. The king steps up onto the long diagonal, perhaps making space for the rook. I'm not entirely sure about this move. The knight comes back to f3, so a little bit of shuffling here for white. Let's see. Dare's game, National Master from Florida. This is their captain and top player, Derek. Dr. Squid Wheezy, thank you for the follow. Welcome. So Derek looking to lead his team to the semifinals. playing against Malse, the bottom board from Supelec, a 2100 as well. So everyone on the French team is at least 2100. Here we have Ernesto. This is the bottom board of Florida at 1800 against the top board, Jean from Centrale Supelec. So yeah, the French team has a bit more even of rating distribution. Everyone's between 23 and 2100, whereas the Florida team has a 2500 all the way down to an 1800 on board 4. So we will see which team comes out victorious. I'll try to keep my attention on the two captains of the teams. So the king stepped up to g7, and now the rooks are put on the b file. We have bishop f3. I think queen to e2, trying to get the knight into g4 made some sense. This knight probably looking at the d4 square. Now we have knight g4, looking to trade. I think black is slightly better. They got a little bit more space. A little more space in the center. KW Right or K Right, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Appreciate it. If you're tuning in, this is University of Florida's A team against Centrale Supelec, one of the two French schools that we have registered in the Collegiate Chess League. This is a quarterfinals match. This is round 2 of the playoffs. Winner moves on to the semifinals to be played next weekend. And the winner of this match is guaranteed some prize money, as they are in the top 4 of the division when they make it to semifinals. And 4th place prize, I believe, is $250. And the 1st place prize for Division 3 is $1,500. So they're going to be fighting for that next weekend, whoever wins this match. They will move on, and I believe they will be playing Lviv, State University of Physical Culture, one of our teams from Ukraine. They are the number 1 seed overall. So whoever wins this match, they have their work cut out ahead of them. But again, like I said, they're guaranteed some prize money, so that's exciting. We have rook to g3, potentially trying to open up the g file by taking on f4. Now, black can always take on b1, distracting white's rook on g1. I think also there's a lot of tension on the e5 square. We could potentially see some sacrifices here. We could also have white take on b8, and therefore, once black retakes, there's no rook takes move. So this king and rook are opposite of each other. It's typically good for the rook, so opening up this is incentivized. White instead now just trying to focus on the light squares, potentially getting a check in at some point. If you take here, and give check, king has one legal move. But probably not going to sacrifice on e5 unless it lands some sort of fork. I think with the king here, there could have been reason to do that, as the bishop would take with the fork. But looks like both rooks are now being traded off. Let's check back in with Dare Dare. Dare Dare seems to be doing well. Rook f8, just intending to double up here. If pawn push with discovery on the rook, we can respond with b3, creating a connected pass pawn, getting connect 4. So yeah, the rook's gonna come here and this pawn will fall. So Dare's looking to be doing well, and they're also up a lot of time. Their opponent less than 30 seconds. Here Rabbit also less than 30 seconds against Tampy. This position seems a bit more even. Queen here, lots of pressure here. Bishop comes back. Pressure here, I suppose. Queen steps up. Knight goes in. Bishop back, attacking this pawn through X-ray. King steps up to defend. Knight over, looking at the D4 square. Here, Mal's only 10 seconds. So we did get the pass pawn. Rook perhaps going here. Or maybe just take this. And then take this. So offering bishop trade. Bishop takes, rook takes. King stepping back. Trying to make its way in, but... Okay, maybe pawn push here. Yeah, keep the king out of f5. But now we have h5. Now the king is entering. King here, there's king here. So taking this. King trying to take this, but... Yeah, you can take on h5. Next, you can promote. Rook takes, king takes, and then you take here. So king steps up here. Probably now rook a3 seems like a good idea. Just put pressure on this. Rook a3, if the king goes here, then we continue with our promotion plan. g6 is a very solid move as well. So now you can take here, or... Yeah, maybe you save this. Nope, you're going here to take this one. Gotta watch out for rook check, though. Black could mess this up, but looks like this pawn is passed as well. g5. Or rook c2 to defend this. Cut the king off entirely. Also make some space for this pawn. So 3 passed pawns for white, only 1 for... Or 3 passed pawns for black, only 1 for white. It's already being attacked. So there's c3. Next is c2. One push, c2, and now rook here, but now we have rook check and queen. Take care, Brent. Have a good one at class. Thanks for being here. All right. This game, also very low on the clock. Blue Sky versus Sylvester. It appears to be even material. Black not going for the perpetual. The knight trying to reroute. Both players very low on time. Potentially pushing a4. White doesn't really want to take and double the pawns, but if they don't take, then a3 is played. So they decide to take. Rook takes the b file. Maybe block with the rook. Nope. Rook over attacking this. Now how do you save that? Black's going to be better now. They're going to be winning this pawn. So yeah, probably should have blocked here. So knight goes here. This is another way to win the pawn. Takes, takes, takes. Rook check, king here or here, defending this. Dare beat Malse. No idea if I am pronouncing that right or not. Alright, so black is pushing their advanced pawns. They're connected passers. White is down a pawn, but also the pawns they do have are doubled and isolated. So not a recipe for success. Now the king is here in time to attack here, but we have these under attack. We have this under attack. White's trying to hold on to a draw, but they lose both of these pawns now. Maybe black should have defended the g5 pawn, but they're up 2 pawns to none. They are split, though. It looks like white is actually going to be winning this one. No, can't take it, because then the black king will win that pawn endgame, it seems. Check, king here. Dodging all future checks. Rook here. Now, how does black make progress? If you move the king, you're getting checked. If you move the rook off this file, well, you're getting checked there too. Potentially losing this. Now the pawn is pushing. So black is making some progress. Here we got Ernesto. Looks like Ernesto is going to be taking down Jean. So let's see. Does black have some sort of perpetual? Maybe queen f2. Okay, king here. More queen checks. Only 5 seconds for John. This king before. The king is trying to find safety. How to do this? No, we're just going to repeat. You don't want to repeat. Hello, Nick. Rabbit beat Tampy. Ooh. Now it's dead drawn. Now it's dead drawn. This was winning for white. 1 square away from promotion. They probably should have blocked with the queen on f2. But failed to do so. Ernesto offering a draw. There you have it. So Dare with the win. Rabbit with the win here. Not sure what happened to Tampy. So knight for 3 pawns. So it appears we've had a piece sacrifice. Blue Sky won their game. Okay, let's put some points on the board. Blue Sky, Ernesto, and Jean. That's a big draw for the 4th board of Florida. And we have a point from Rabbit beating Tampy. Trying to see what happened in this game. Okay, so 2 bishops, 2 knights, knight and a bishop. So looks like we have here, check, back, here, and that drops this pawn here. Take. Oh, and there goes that game. Hold on. Here, check. Here, attack this. Queen here, and that's a free piece right there. So, yeah, Tampy just blundering a piece. And Rabbit able to convert that. Trading queens. Trading the bishop for the knights. Grabbing some pawns and making a pass pawn. So, Ernesto here, able to get a draw off Supelec's top board. Now playing Blue Sky, the only French player to get a win in the previous match. So we'll see if Ernesto continues to take points away from Centrale Supelec's top boards. We have 2 games underway of round 2. Ernesto and Blue Sky. We also have Dare versus Tampy, the 2 leaders of the clubs. Dare getting a win in their first game. Tampy blundering a piece in their previous game in time pressure. Looking to answer back, trying to get back on the board. Or on the board at all. But the first half of the match is going to be harder for Tampy as they are at board 3 playing against the top 2 boards of Florida. But still, Florida's bottom board able to get a draw out of Centrale Supelec's top board. So Tampy looking to return the favor, perhaps. That or will Dare be unstopped? Will Dare continue? Also, you guys, college or the University of Florida is streaming. Let me see if I can share the link with you guys. Try to check out this link. Let me know if they're live. Actually, I could look myself. No, they're not live. That is where they were streaming from. Alright, so offering a light square bishop trade. Black attacks with the knight, so white just initiates the trade first. I feel like knight f5 is looking pretty good. Ooh, knight f5 looking real good. Look at that. I guess the knight does defend this. Either way, Dare finds knight f5 and The g7 pawn's gonna feel some pain. Hit by both knight and bishop. Yeah, g7 looking awfully good. Does Dare go for it? The queen staring at the king, but with nothing else. Just a long distance stare. No substance. So the rook tries to enter. Tampy playing fast. So the knight goes here where it's defended by the queen. How about, okay, rook g4 trying to cut the queen off. Trying to attack g2. There's knight here or knight here. Both probably good moves. Bishop tucks back. Perhaps anticipating one of these knight moves. Trying to get the knight back. There's rook takes here. Bishop takes with check. Very interesting. So knight here, blocking the g-file. Hitting the rook. Blocking the bishop check. Threatening this as well as this. So now if rook takes, bishop takes, rook takes, bishop takes, king takes. John Lucky Luke. Don't know if I thanked you yet. I don't think I did, but thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. If you guys want to learn more about the Collegiate Chess League and the format of the league, the scheduling of the league, and just the overall divisions and prizes, you should check out our information link that I just put in the chat. That'll tell you everything you need to know about our league. We are going into the semifinals and finals next weekend, so only one weekend left. So that's exactly what we saw. I believe Dare's won a pawn out of this, and now is going for the throat, going for checkmate. Rook d1 makes sense, attacking the pinned piece. There's no convenient knight move as this queen boxes out the knight. Oh no, never mind. This is defended. So how about, oh, queen takes pawn. Okay. Now the bishop's hit. You can go here to defend this. Go here to attack the knight also works. And now defend f2. Yeah, Dare's playing this really well. Probably going to convert this. Yeah, Tampy just calls it a day. Kind of an early resignation in my opinion, but it is what it is. Dare off to a 2-0 start, leading the way for the Gators. Here we have Blue Sky versus Ernesto. So Blue Sky, the only player from Centrale Supelec to get a point in the first round, trying to take down Ernesto, who managed to get a draw out of Centrale Supelec's top board, Jean Pion. So let's see. Blue Sky is looking pretty good. Looks like they are up material. Is it 2 pieces for a rook? I believe it is. 2 knights for a rook. Black can take on b2, perhaps, but maybe it's not best. So yeah, the knight on d2 is hanging. White could also just play like queen d7, threatening checkmate. This is a really sad bishop. This rook is going to have to move so the bishop can go backwards to then redeploy on the chessboard. Right now it's staring at its own pawns. Although it's difficult, if the bishop goes back, probably you'll drop the f6 pawn. Unless the rook goes forward, which honestly is probably a good move. There is queen fork, but probably just rook here, double up, I guess. But then this bishop was once again trapped. This is a really nice knight. Very annoying. Queen's hit, forcing it to take on b2 now, basically. So yeah, queen d5 looking pretty juicy. Queen d5 and then what? I'm not sure. I'm missing. Let me try to follow the last game. Okay. Yep, so we have all the games. Again, we have two 2100s here. Malse. No points yet. Rabbit with some points as they took down Tampy. Now looks like White's trying to gain this d5 pawn. Not if this bishop has anything to say about it. Knight comes in with tempo on the queen. Queen now double up with the rook, threatening to take the knight. So the knight comes back, attacking the bishop. Now, does White want to take the bishop, or do you want to leave the knight here? This is a good outpost square for the knight, although it has to be defended by a piece rather than a pawn. But if you take the bishop, then pawn takes, reinforcing the pawn here. So, bit of a double-edged sword here. You want to take the bishop, but you also want to keep your knight. You don't want to help out black fortify their pawn structure. We got Jean versus Sylvester. So Sylvester, the only player from Florida to not get any points in the first round, looking to get some points here against the top board. Now the top board from Centrale Supelec trying to get some points of their own. They only got a draw in the first one against the board 4. Right now, Florida's up 2 points. It is only round 2. Plenty of chess left to be played. We have king to h8, getting off this diagonal prophylactically. White now thinking of what they want to do. I feel like White can just blast open this king, no? Bishop f8, trying to trade bishops. Like bishop here, although there's knight takes, so never mind. Maybe you just take on f8. This queen, very importantly, defending checkmate. Queen has a very important role. Let's see how Blue Sky's doing against Ernesto. Ernesto is up material. Let's see. They lost a couple pawns, it seems. So now black has connected past pawns. Black's also looking like they're defending everything. Now queen check. King has to move. Probably you want to defend h2. So here's one of those moves. And now the pawn is advancing. Pawn is pushing. White does have control over d2. So it'll be hard for black to continue pushing this. We have knight in now attacking the pawn. I guess the pawn can push now. The pawn can push, but then perhaps rook to d6, getting behind the pawn. There we have it. d2. And now, yeah, rook d6. Oh, wait, you just allow the queen. What? 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 What's going on here? Blue Sky. You forget about d1 equals queen. Now you have 2 queens. And your knight took on g7 for what? Oh, no, that's got to be made very soon. Very soon. Queen check only moves to block with the bishop. That's game over. That's rough. So Ernesto doing really well. Blue Sky going down. Their first loss of the match. Here we have Jean. Can they redeem themselves against Sylvester? Looks like John's down 10 seconds to just under 40. So who's winning this one? Looks like Sylvester's up a piece for 2 pawns here, threatening back rank mate. So the bishop develops, opening up the rook to defend. White's also threatening to take here twice, winning material. Bishop takes here, so ignoring this. Queen here. Queen trying to offsuit this queen by defending here. So black just bringing in more pieces to defend this base point of the pawn structure. Bring the queen back. this bishop here, trying to remove the defender of e2. So knight here was a threat. Trading queens now. Pawn push, rook here. Rook here, here are the only two moves that defend that. So now the white king's stepping up. So yeah, this endgame, black is going to play up a bishop, but they have to cover this h7 pawn, as well as all their currently weak pawns. So white definitely has the better pawn structure. But black is up a piece. So they drop the f5 square. How about rook to 8, or yeah, bishop h6. Yep. And that defends the f pawn. You hang the a pawn though. Do you hang the c pawn as well? Probably not. Probably don't want to do that. White now has a passed pawn. You don't want to trade rooks. That'd be really bad for white because the bishop is going to win. So the bishop's hit. Bishop defends by the pawn. Rook defends their pawn. Bishop tries to save itself. The king was putting pressure on the bishop. Okay, so you can push this pawn now. Black cannot take as you lose the bishop. So king steps up. Another check. How many more checks we got? Is this a draw? No, white's playing on. White wants to make progress against the bishop. So there's no en passant because the king takes e3. So now white has two passed pawns. Also up a little bit on the time. Yeah, 5 seconds for Sylvester. Living off the increment. This king is cut off by this rook. This rook is beautifully placed here. So this bishop, though, defends the rook. Rook's just going to shuffle. Now, you don't really want to move the bishop. You don't want to lose the pawn. You don't want to lose the rook. You have rook check. Oh, no time for Sylvester. Wow. John with a dirty flag down a piece. Getting a point back for Centrale Supelec. Here now we have the last game of round 2, Malse versus Rabbit. Rabbit's looking to do pretty well here, up in exchange. The king is in check, gonna have to move. The rook on e2 is hanging by the bishop, so after the king moves, we'll probably see the rook on e2 move for Team White. Let's see, where does the king want to go? I would assume c5. But I've been wrong before. King c5 has been played. Now you have to watch out for skewers, like rook to f8, threatening rook c8, skewer. There's always going to be tricks in the position. So rook e2, saving the e2 rook. Yeah, that makes maybe a little bit more sense. Now Malse has to defend in the next 11 seconds, 10 seconds now. They go bishop back. I like rook f8 so much. Okay, so the bishop covers the c8 check. Now the rook takes on h7. So a lot of pressure on d5 and the 7th rank as well. And looks like Rabbit's going to win this one pretty convincingly, especially given the time advantage, as well as just the position in general. But black plays on, pushing some pawns, capturing here. d5 is hit twice, now defended by the bishop. But now white's passed pawns they're pushing. 8 seconds to a minute. Interesting rook checks here. I like the move f4, threatening the fork. f4, nope, just king up. Yeah, that defends the g4 pawn. Now they go for f4. f5 hits with check. The king has to defend the bishop. And now g5 threatens g6, so the king gets out of the pen. Now the other rook's coming in. Bishop back, trying to limit the rook's entrance squares. King steps up, and now black's pushing the d4 pawn. But now pawn push, stopping the pawn. white grabbing a pawn. So probably king to g5 and then play f6. Nope. Going after the d pawn. Now rook. Oh, bishop takes. Bishop takes. What? What was this move? King takes. Now rook takes on d3. This is probably just a draw now. They missed the exchange. But yeah, you probably want to take on d3. Take on d3. So probably white would take on d3. No, black declines. Malsay wants to win. I respect it. They are down 2 points. So now rook blocks the checks. Kings are defending the pawn. The b2 pawn could be weak, so white pushes it. Black trying to advance their own pawns. Now the rook is in. a4 from black, threatening to play a3 at some point. Or also just taking on b3. So we take on a4. Rook gets behind the pawn. Rook check, king back. And now looks like black's going to be winning f5. But yeah, this is just a draw. Just a draw. So Malsay played pretty well under time pressure. Not going to lie. So, yep. Declining the draw. Very classic. You never know if they're going to fall for a skewer or hang the rook or something. You know? Makes sense. Less than 30 seconds for both players, although they've been gaining time. Couple checks. Another check. No threefold. So check. King up. Rook back, rook over. Rook guarding the checks. King over. Opening up another check. Nope. King goes there. Couple king shuffles. Nope. Now rook shuffles. Black's just been consistent. They're trying to dance with the king. There's some dance. Okay, well now that white reciprocated, there's no more. Now there's some rook moves. Check, check, check. I don't know why they're playing on here, but as long as they're having fun, I think that's what matters most. Check, 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 check. Check's gonna run out soon, but now white is on the checks. Okay. King back. Dude, I don't like how white's playing this. Putting their king in the corner like this. So black's king has the center. Cut the king off. Check, king back. I mean, it's just a draw. I don't know why we're watching this. Okay, rook check forces the king to the back rank. I don't know why black wouldn't do that, but that's okay. Let's watch this game. This is between Ernesto and Tampi. So Ernesto, 1.5 out of 2 against the top 2 boards from Centrale Supelec. Tampi is still looking for their first points. Looks like Tampi's up 2 pawns on the outside. That's pretty good. So Tampi should be able to win this one, given the current position. That'll be their first points of the match. Very needed for Centrale Supelec. They're currently down. Rabbit and Malsay drew. So Rabbit also 1.5. Malsay, the 4th board, now on the board with half a point. So after the halfway point of the match, Florida has 5 and Centrale Supelec has 3. Centrale Supelec looking to get some points back though here with Tampi. So let's see if Tampi can convert the 2-pawn advantage. Looks like here they're just going after that c4 pawn. So the rook comes back to defend the pawn. Can black double up here? Queen here. No longer pressure here. Or there was rook c1 at some point. Maybe rook here as well, actually. This actually is attacking the pawn. If we go bishop here, defending that pawn, we lose this pawn with check. So how does white defend this one? They don't. They're going after the activity. So now if rook takes rooks, rook takes back. King up. King seems pretty safe there. Unless white were to get a second heavy on the back rank, but it seems like a couple moves away. So now how do you deal with the e5 pawn hanging? Going back, rook takes. Queen doubled now. Threatening bishop f4 fork. But not really. Queen takes with check. So bishop here, very peculiar. King over, maybe now bishop here. Or bishop here. Bishop here, maybe. Queen back. To get out of the fork, yes. Getting out of the fork, important. So actually, yeah, so bishop here, if fork, queen takes with check. So the king steps away, and now the queen gets out of this forking idea. So now there's no longer bishop f4. I mean, you could actually go bishop f4. They opt for bishop e3, perhaps to get on this diagonal. Let's see Dare versus Blue Sky. King up to h2. Dare's got the black pieces. Also about a minute on the clock. No material imbalance yet. In fact, no trades. Black trying to attack white on the king side now. Ernesto down to 20 seconds against Tampy. Tampy looks to be winning this one fairly easily. Up 4 pawns now. That's a lot of pawns. Oh, that's a free queen. So Ernesto is going to resign this one. So Tampy on the board with their first point, bringing the deficit back within 1. Here we got Sylvester versus Malsay. Board 3 versus board 4. All right, let's check out the top board. Jean and Pion. Okay, king g7. Perhaps clearing the way for the rook on the f file to go to the h file. I would love to play g5 at some point for black, but it's just not going to happen. And the reason why is because I want to play g4. But white can simply take on g5 many different ways. They have the pawn, the knight, and the bishop all covering g5. So, yeah, I like white here. I think John has more space. Black is a little bit cramped, and look at this terrible bishop. All the pawns on light squares. Including this one. Stuck on the back rank. Another piece going to the back rank. So yeah, white a little bit better in terms of space. And yeah, they're the ones that control the pawn breaks, so they're launching forward already. G4, rook trained opposite the king. So Jean's playing this well. We have a capture here, opening the h file for black's rook. King now steps off the G file. We have a trade, and now one of the pawns will take back, taking towards the center with the G pawn. And now white, maybe queen G3, threatens almost mate, probably mate. Yep, there's queen G3, and now rook G8 or queen G8. Queen G8. So just trying to get the queens off the board. Trying to get the material off. This black king will be much safer without the queens on. Because it's not very safe as it is right now. So we have a trade of queens, trade of rooks as well. Bishop develops to get the other rook in. Knight over. So yeah, we would have liked to have taken with the e-pawn to create space for the bishop, but this pawn would then become connected and passed. So you just want to take with the center there, and this bishop's going to have to take a couple extra moves to get out of the way. Very unfortunate for black's position. So it's still very even though. Even if white might be ahead in development and space, it seems that black is having not too difficult a time to defend, blockade everything. Although after this last trade sequence, G5 now is a pass pawn for white, but it's going to be hard to convert that. Let's check in with the top board, Dare. See how he's doing. He's up 2 minutes on the clock. He's bringing the pieces over to attack this king. Centrale Supelec only down 1 point. Three boards left on this round. Okay, this game's still kind of early in terms of development. We have bishop attacking the knight, and if bishop takes the knight, that's going to weaken the h7 square. So the queen and bishop here for white lined up against h7. They're ready to pounce as soon as the knight gets dislodged or removed. So the queen steps out. This helps defend h7. So if bishop takes knight, probably rook takes knight. And the queen's still defending h7, so that's good for black. Well, I'll say very low internet speed, it seems. Kind of lagging a little bit. So hopefully that doesn't affect their game. Let's check on Jean again. Jean, half the time of his opponent. Putting the bishop all the way back to b1. Maybe rook h4, try to activate somehow. Threatening rook g4, I guess, and then trading rooks. Okay, the knight comes back. Yeah, I don't know what the plan is. Maybe bishop back was better to put the knight on this square, attacking the pawns. So maybe black would have played that if the bishop wasn't there. Instead, they go knight all the way backwards. So I guess the plan from here is to go here. Not sure why though. So rook here. Perhaps. Oh, I didn't mean to make that move. That was not me. But yeah, rook here. Perhaps threatening to capture on f5, but the knight comes here in time to just defend that, getting rid of that possibility. Now this knight comes back. The king was tied to the defense of the rook. So probably didn't want that. So now the rook goes back towards the center. And now the knight's going to reside on f6. Very happy piece. So hard to dislodge that. Perhaps rook h4 would have prevented that as well, but the king would step up. The problem is this black rook is working on its own. There's no doubling on the h-file or anything, with just one rook left. Here we have low time from Alcé, 20 seconds. To a minute 20 for Sylvester. We're threatening mate. Oh no, we're not. I thought this was the white queen, but it's not. It is the white knight and the black queen. Ooh, this move puts the queen on. Can we like take some stuff here? Knight f7. That's very intriguing. Knight f7, just open the bishop attack on the queen. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of queen h6. Wow, knight f7 played by Sylvester. Queen back up, and now knight takes bishop for free with tempo. Now knight takes the other bishop. Probably. Nope. Knight goes back. Queen trade offered. Knight goes back. Knights traded. Offer bishop trade. Pawn push, defending the pawn. Trying to attack the pawn. But now attacking the rook, pushing the pawns. White's going to get past the pass. Well, they're two connected pass pawns now. This is really beautifully played by Sylvester. Very well done. So they should be able to win this one. Should be. Two pieces versus a rook. Amazing pawns. I think they missed a fork, no? King here, they missed a fork. So that was not good. They're dropping the... Why is Sylvester playing so quickly? Somebody answer me this. Sylvester, you're completely winning. No need to throw it away. Knight check. King over. You could play rook c7, perhaps. Nope. Knight forked the rooks. Okay, so they're getting the exchange back. So they'll be up a piece, up a bishop. Oh, that's a free rook. Oh, no, you take the bishop now. Okay, interesting. But now, like, knight e5 check, or rook c7 with discover check. Dare beat blue sky. So, Dare still undefeated. 3 for 3. Bringing back the 2-point lead. There goes the h-pawn. Rook attacking the a-pawn. Pawn push. King just took that for some reason. Yeah, that was probably not a good move from white. Trying to chase this pawn down. Rook d7. Going after this pawn. Takes. Okay, so how's this gonna happen? Pawn push, defending it. Advancing the pawn. About 30 seconds for both sides. Actually, let's look at the top board, John versus Rabbit. 3 seconds for John. Huge material imbalance here. We've got a knight for... no, they're up a knight plus a pawn. Bishop here, I'm not so sure what this does. Maybe looking for d6. Yeah, so d6 attacking the pawn. A knight check. King over, attacking the pawn. So the threat is for white to take the bishop and then take the pawn. So they capture here. Going for e5. White misses it. They take the bishop. Ooh. So the knight's defending the pawn. So now the bishop has to trade off. But yeah, this is completely one for Rabbit. 2 knights and 2 pawns. Should be an easy conversion. If it was only 1 pawn, maybe the bishop could take it. But no, just trading off king and bishop, and now this is an easy dub. Sylvester beat Malsay. So that's their first point. Advancing Florida's lead now is 7-4. And Rabbit here is going to get the 8th point. So, tough round for Centrale Supelec. Believe they're only down 2. Now they're going to be down 4. So this is a 3-1 round. Unless this is a stalemate, but looks like mate next. Could promote to a rook there. But Rabbit gets to point. They're at 2.5 out of 3. So yeah, with that, Florida just needs a draw in the 4th and final round. Centrale Supelec needing a sweep, 4 for 4 in the 4th and final round, just to force overtime. But likely won't see that. Here we got Tampi versus Sylvester, the board 3s, both at 1 point apiece. All right. Got all 4 games underway. Got Dare and Jean. Attacking the b4 pawn. b4 pushes to b5, attacking the knight back. Knight's gonna have to retreat. All the way back home. Capture on d4. Bishop hits. Attack twice. Pawn here we take. Probably, so pin the knight. Attack the bishop. Here, now we can win the pawn. The move g4. Looks like we're going for it. Time to be greedy. Grab a pawn. Why not? Pawns are good for you. Dare agrees. So now the knight is hit. Maybe knight back to f3. Hit that pawn again. Twice. Nope. Knight back to b3. Knight develops, defending the pawn. Bishop develops, attacking the b7 pawn. If b7 pushes, the rook hangs, so the rook moves out of the pen, defends the pawn. Castle king side for white. Now pawn push. Black's trying to attack and open up this king. Trying to open up the h file for the rook. d4, trying to open up the king in the center. Trying to open up some lines. Queen takes pawn. Knight develops with tempo. Perhaps queen e2. Nope. Queen to g3. The white still needs to develop their knight. Get the rooks to the center. Let's see rabbit versus blue sky. The board 2s. So it seems to be somewhat even. White is down a pawn though. Blue sky looking to convert this. Again, Florida needs a draw in any of these 4 games to go on. Centrale Supelec in a must-win situation on all 4 boards. Bishop e3. Pawn push. Trying to open up the center. I feel like white could win this pawn, no? Bury the cat. Thanks for the follow. Okay, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attackers. 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders. Okay, taking here. Oh, maybe 5. Yeah, it's confusing, but they take the bishop, and now the pawn structure is totally solid, but they bring in the bishop to attack the rook, so probably rook e8. I don't know. I don't know if okay, they want to get off. I don't know if they want to get off the f file, but rook f7 was the other idea. Decided not to do that. So now white's rook on f1 is uncontested right now. Let's check out the board 4s. Malse versus Ernesto. Looks like Ernesto and Malse have both finished their development. And now white's trying to hold on to this e5 pawn. So can black take on f3? I guess not. They didn't do it. Take on f3. Queen takes f3. And then can you or can you not take on e5? Probably not. I don't know. Ernesto's been doing really well. They got a draw like in every game. Or no, maybe they've gotten a point. They beat someone. They drew the top board. So who'd they beat? Forget. Ooh, taking with the pawn here. This really opens up that king, huh? I would play like rook e8 for black. Rook e8, try to get that pawn, but I guess white plays f4, but then you play like h6 or something. So maybe you just play bishop f4. All right. Rabbit versus blue sky. Blue sky is up 2 pawns. Rabbit now under 3 minutes. They're thinking, does white take here? Probably not. You drop the c2 pawn. These pawns become double isolated, and the rook becomes very active on the second. So the king steps up. Pressure here. Interestingly enough, I don't know if white would actually take this. So yeah, black is better, but they still have to convert. Still have to figure it out. Oh, probably threatening g4 actually. G4 is the threat. King steps up. Now is king g4 going to be played? Knight takes on e4 with check. We have Sylvester under a minute against Tampy. Centrale Supelec leader. Leading the team to the 4th round comeback, the sweep. Trying to get a dub for his team. Sylvester playing knight to f6. If rook takes f6, there's rook e1 soon to be made. Oh, wait. No? I thought rook e1 was the whole idea. Now rook f8 check. Rook f8 check. Wait, does this work? Oh, there's queen e1. Okay, queen e1. Yeah. Wow. So Tampy finding the tag. Yeah, they took the knight. I don't know why black didn't do rook e1. That was the whole point of knight f6, I thought. But I guess not. I don't know. So now queen takes e1. Yeah. So that's a really good way to simplify. Here, just queen takes f2. That's a free rook. So Sylvester's probably going to resign now. Yeah. That was oddly played, I guess, from both players. But Tampy getting their second point. So now down to 3 boards. Can Centrale Supelec pull it off? Blue sky's doing better here. The king's in check, just moving the king. Still, you lost this. Oh, you're grabbing the material. Yeah, black is doing better. If blue sky wins that, that's huge. Here we have Ernesto versus Malsay. Ernesto's doing better here, though. Ernesto potentially trying to line up on this diagonal. GG Tanguy. Who's that? Tampy? I don't know. Oh, yeah, that is Tampy. Tanguy, yeah. And here we got Dare versus Jean. Jean's actually doing really well here. Let me see if I can figure out why. Let's see. So Jean has not castled yet. But they have a connected pass pawn. It's the focal point. It's the talk of the town here. All the pieces trained on e4, defended by the knight and the bishop. This knight hits the bishop. John thinking probably just take on g2. That's what I would do. But what do I know? Yeah, this rook is opened up. This rook has already moved. So really, I think it comes down to Malsay and Ernesto. I think Ernesto is going to be the one that potentially clinches it out for his team. Because Blue Sky looks like they're going to win this one. John looks like he's going to win this one. So now king takes. Now bishop f5. Looking to take here. So yeah, it all comes down to Malsay, who only has a draw so far in the match. But this game is actually fairly even. It's just opposite color bishops. I'll say is down a pawn though, right? Down a pawn here, looking to play c5, but you don't want to drop the d5 pawn, so probably move that d6 bishop out of the way first. Ernesto is low on time though. Maybe there's some time pressure blunders. This game is not over yet. This game is not over yet. This could be still a close one. Check. This is a threat. Perhaps king up. No, here. Is this a thing? Here. King e6. Just don't go here. King here attacks and defends. And here, now we have rook check, maybe. Here. So we get the g pawn. Oh, here, John down to their last 6 seconds. Dare taking matters into his own hands. Does he have perpetual? I don't think so. But yeah, the position, does he trade? Let's see what happened. So takes here, trade here, check. You cannot draw. Yeah, black has to play on. Here, Molse and Ernesto both under 20 seconds. Molse is thinking. 15 seconds. Queen up. 10 seconds. Oh, Dare won by flag. John goes down to the clock. Blue Sky won their game, but it's too little too late. This board will not matter. So Dare with the sweep, getting the 9th and final point, ensuring their team moves on to the semifinals. So Centrale Supelec tried to come back in the final round, but it's too little too late. We got this one last match, but yeah, congratulations to University of Florida, guaranteeing a spot in the semifinals, as well as at least $250 for the 4th place prize. They're going to be fighting in the semifinals against Lviv. So if they beat Lviv, they're going to be fighting for $1,500 in the 1st place match. All right, so this game should be wrapping up soon. There was queen h7 check. King here. I don't know how good that'd be, but here, this is a threat. Here. Offering queen trade. Doesn't even do it. King here now. Queen check. 3 seconds for Ernesto. Check. There's mate here, so offering the queen trade again. So now the queens are off. Bishop here. This is probably just a draw, but maybe white's a little bit better. We have a draw offer, and yeah, this game will not impact the results of the match. But they can play on a couple more moves. There it is. So a draw on the 4th boards. Ernesto going 2 out of 4. Molse going 1 out of 4. And then we got a final score of 9.5 to 6.5. Again, congratulations to University of Florida. Moving on to the semifinals next weekend to be played on Saturday. And they will play against Lviv, the #1 seed from Ukraine in Division 3. And that is a spot in the finals if they win that. And they would have a chance at the 1st place prize of $1,500. If they lose 2 matches in a row, they're still guaranteed some prize money. I believe 4th place takes home $250. So yeah, congrats again to Florida and to Centrale Supelec. Great season to get it this far. I hope to see you guys again next season, hopefully with a bigger, stronger team. And yeah, I wish you guys good luck in future seasons, and hopefully I'll see you guys